Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Christiane Amanpour in London. It's been yet another no good, very bad week for President Trump. Cracks appearing in the MAGA movement at home and abroad. A key ally in Europe, Hungary, pivoting hard towards the European Union this week as MAGA star Viktor Orban's successor takes the reins. Who's benefiting from that? Well, Ukraine for the moment. The pro-Putin Orban had blocked a much-needed loan. But late this week, New Hungary gave the green light to more than $100 billion in life-saving funds to Kyiv. A much-needed reprieve as Ukraine struggles for survival and for America's attention, while the war on Iran uses up many of the weapons Kyiv needs to defend itself. But President Zelensky is making the best of a bad situation, making new deals with Persian Gulf states with its battle-tested drone expertise. So what does he hope for in future from President Trump? I asked Zelensky, who joined me from the presidential office, and he started by telling me how essential these new EU funds are for Ukraine.
God bless, we will have it. For us, it's huge, very important, and this is not only strengthening our army, it's also how to defend all the energy objects we need to prepare for the next winter. So it's also about social, financial support and etc. So this is very important decision. It's really the question of our life, of the surviving, of defending. So we need this money very much.
And let me ask you also, because obviously the war on Iran is detracting attention and maybe even equipment from you. Do you feel that? Tell me how it's impacted the kind of equipment, anti-ballistic missile defense and the other stuff.
So this is very important. And of course, according to the big challenge in the Middle East, war in Iran, and all these packages are in risk. God bless that United States didn't close intelligence for us and didn't stop anti-ballistic missiles, but be honest, small number. We had not too much.
You've said for Putin, a long war in Iran is a plus. President Trump has essentially, I don't think he's called it a ceasefire. I mean, they've extended it until they can get proper negotiations with Iran. Do you think this is hopeful? The fact that the hot war is on maybe being shelved for the moment?
In any way, I don't know if it's ceasefire or not, but in any way, any pauses in any war, I think this is good, because during any kind of pauses, you don't lose people. So I don't know what money will Russia make on the lifting of sanctions during all these decisions in the Middle East. As of course, for us, it's a challenge, but the biggest challenge for any country, for any nation, any religions, and etc., is to lose people. So we support ceasefire, we support any pauses between us sometimes during Easter, during Christmas, during New Year, during any kind of even days when people can have, I don't know, just meetings with their children, when soldiers can write a letter, speak, and have some rest. And I think it's great.
Let me ask you then, because while they're trying to figure out a ceasefire and an end to the US-Iran conflict, what about the Russia-Ukraine conflict? Where are the ceasefire talks there that the United States was, meant to be mediating?
Russia doesn't want ceasefire. And between us, I'm sure that they don't want to stop this war. But we support ceasefire. Where, in this case now, America, they shifted to the Middle East, and they are deeply in the Iranian question. I don't see now the opportunity to meet today or tomorrow until the case of Iran will not be closed, or some fundamental ceasefire, something like this.
Well, that's having to really rely on another war until you end yours. You have said that President Trump does not want to irritate Putin and is trying to act like a negotiator rather than, to take sides. Tell me, what you think now about the United States, the reliability of the Trump administration. Who are you depending most on now?
First of all, I think that it's big risks when you think that you have to close one war and then mediate another. I think that it doesn't work this way because you have to think about security. We don't have too much negotiation group from the United States. And in this case, I think it's a challenge that the same group is trying to manage both. And I think what is important not to forget about Ukraine, because we have really full-scale invasion and big war on the land. Ukraine is already in such big tragedy. So we have to find a way how to think and manage in parallel way. This is what I think. The question is, if we want to stop Putin, we have to say Putin that he's not right. And if we start any kind of format of dialogue with Putin, with the question, look, we have to find some compromise for you, and will you be able so kind, or etc. All this, I'm not sure that it works. Putin is guilty. And that's why I think that President Trump, President Xi, Modi, they have to speak with Putin that he has to stop this war. They can't speak with Ukraine that you have to stop the war. We are not aggressors in this war. That's why it's not, helpful to speak with us to stop. To stop what? We have to stop altogether Putin. And we can stop it with weapon because he doesn't want to speak.
Can I ask you one last question? And it's kind of a funny one. The New York Times is reporting that Ukrainian officials sort of raised the idea of naming a piece of Donbas, which you're fighting over, Donny Land, during some ceasefire talks. Is that possible? Is that true?
But it's not about me. First of all, I never spoke this way, and I can't give the name of our part of our country, and where so many people are fighting. I don't want to give them any kind of name, but I think that for me, like for the president, for me, it's Donetsk region and Lugansk region with the Ukrainian flag. Maybe it's not so funny, and maybe it's not very successful name, but it's very original.
Got it.
And I hope that we will save it.
I got it. President Zelensky, thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you very much. I was happy to see you.
It's all in a name.